Yo, what's going on, guys? EK9 here, bringing you guys a different type of video today. So, in the hockey world, there was a big move that just happened, and that was the Taylor Hall trade to the Arizona Coyotes. So, the original move is Taylor Hall and Blake Spears to the Arizona Coyotes in exchange for three prospects and two draft picks. So, they will get a 2020 believe it's a first overall draft pick as well as a conditional 2020. The way it works is the 2021 pick, if the Coyotes do make it to the second round this season, that pick will then turn to a second round pick, and the if Taylor Hall does resign, then it turns into a first round pick. The Devils also acquired Nate Schnarr, Nick Merkley, and Kevin Ball. So I've seen a lot of people have different takes on this approach, and a lot of people, especially Devils fans, are really calling for Ray Shiro's head after they had talks with Florida, they had talks with Colorado, and named big names like Bowen Byram were on the table. But most people probably were thinking uh, not rationally about that decision at all, in my opinion. Taylor Hall is he is a Hart Memorial winner, but he also is a rental. If he doesn't resign with Arizona, they take a big loss there, losing two draft picks, losing you know a bit of their future. Although a lot of their bigger stars already are playing in the NHL, but losing Nick Merkley, Ball, things like that is going to really could affect them if things don't go their way. However, I think that the move in both cases is a really good move. I think New Jersey really got quite a bit for a rental. I think that that's a very strong move for them. Moving forward, I think that really helps them start their rebuild as an organization and moves them a little bit forward. I also like the move by Arizona. Arizona sits first in the Pacific. Me, as a Sharks fan following hockey, I got to tell you guys that they look really good. They look phenomenal out there. They look like they're a real team, and I haven't seen this type of Arizona hockey in since like 2012 when Mike Smith stood on his head against the Blackhawks and then eventually lost to the Kings. Um, but yeah, I think they look phenomenal, guys. I think as a whole that Arizona has a whole new meaning towards hockey, and they are now a legitimate team. When they brought in Phil Kessel, everyone was saying, what a great move this was. Ticket sales increased, everything was going up, merchandise, all of that, guys. It was such an impact towards the actual sport inside of Arizona. And I think bringing in Taylor Hall is not only going to drive up sales, but I think this team's going to perform a lot better. I've seen lots of people make comments saying that Taylor Hall's a locker room cancer. He's horrible. He's just a downgrade towards the team. And I've got to tell you guys, I've heard none of that. I've read sources from comments between Captain Andy Green, goaltender Mackenzie Blackwood, a couple other players, and they've said nothing of the sort. I think that it's just Taylor Hall's been frustrated. He's went through coaching change after coaching change, team after team that sucked, and I think he just wanted a team that he can actually play with. I think bring him to Arizona with all that young talent they've got with Clayton Keller. They've got other prospects like Christian Fisher. They look strong. They look like a legitimate team. I think that this team's going to be very good. They got some veterans. They've got Derek Stepan there, Michael Grabner. This team looks really good to me, guys. I think that they're going to probably end up winning the Pacific Division. Whether they are strong enough to compete with the teams like the Colorado Avalanche or St. Louis Blues in the playoffs, that's another question to be answered. But I think that this team's going to make the playoffs this year. I think they're in good hands. I think it was a win-win for both teams. I don't really see how you could look at it any other way. It was just a very smart move for both teams, and that's just my own opinion. You guys can say whatever you want. I don't see that there's any rationality between anyone of the Devil fans or anything saying, well, we could have got Bowen Byram. Joe Sakic's been a terrific GM of Colorado, and I guarantee you, for a rental player, he would not throw up the likes of Bowen Byram. Sammy Girard was also in talks, but if you guys watch Cale Makar and Sammy Girard play together, you're not going to break that up like that. That's just insane. And Bowen Byram's going to be a phenomenal player in the future if he pans out anything like he has in his juniors. He's been phenomenal. I think that Colorado's got a really, really well in-depth team. They've been, strong. And I never believed for a second that Bowen Byram would be a name in the conversation, or Sammy Girard, as a matter of fact, would be involved in that trade. I couldn't see that. So seeing Arizona pull the trigger like that, making a nice move to acquire a top, probably a top 15 in the league, maybe top 20 player, is really going to be exciting for Arizona. And I think that they're going to look a lot better as a whole. I know one player doesn't win you a championship, but this team's been doing very well so far. They're 19-12. They're first in the Pacific, and I can only see them getting better from this. I can't see them getting worse. Maybe it doesn't pan out, but I can't see it not. The only issue is if he doesn't resign, I don't know where the hype goes with this team. Are they going to still be strong? I think that's the big issue. Is he going to be a long-term player in Arizona, or is he going to want to move somewhere else? I think Arizona's been a team that they've been dead for the last 6 years. They haven't been anything spectacular. They haven't really been anything, and this is just going to bring them back. Like the same thing when New Jersey pulled the trigger for Hall. This brought them in a legitimate goal scorer. They haven't had that since the likes of Ilya Kovalchuk. They haven't had that. Zach Parise left, all of that. That was supposed to bring them in that hype, supposed to bring them in that guy, and he did serve well. Everyone says he sucks. He sucked in New Jersey. His stats are not bad. He hasn't been as strong since his breakout season where he won the Hart Memorial. He with the 96 points, but he still was not terrible. Even this season, everyone's like, well, he hasn't done anything. He's got 25 points in 30 games with a team that's one of the worst in the league. I don't know what more you can ask from this guy, and he doesn't really have that many players to surround himself with. And that's not me trying to sound biased, because I do like New Jersey. They're a good team. Like I like them personally, but they really don't have much. They've got a good future approaching when Jack Hughes develops. They've got Will Butcher. They've got a few assets that are going to be very good in the future. But for now, they're a bottom team. That's all they are. And I don't think Taylor Hall wants to be playing for an organization like that. It's the same thing that happened with Edmonton. It's just that he wanted to change guys. He didn't want to be put into that system anymore. And I think you guys got to realize he was not going to sign an extension in New Jersey. What they got is very good in their terms. Like I think Shiro looks very good coming out of this trade. I think both teams won from this trade. I don't think there's a single winner. I think that it's definitely going to boost revenue in Arizona. It's going to bring in more fans. That's what they've been trying to do. They almost lost their franchise, and this is just going to help them with their revival of their fan base. And I think that that's something that they've been trying to focus on. That's what they did when they brought in Phil Kessel. But I definitely think, guys, that people saying that Shiro doesn't know what he's doing, he should be fired. I think that you guys are looking at it the wrong way. Hall is a rental player. He wasn't going to sign an extension. They get a few picks out of it. They do also get a couple prospects. However, I understand the frustration. You lose a guy who's a top point getter, 96 points a few years ago. He was a big name to this organization of New Jersey, but I can't see any way of looking at it other than, it's a sacrifice that you have to make. It's either you pull the trigger, you make a move, or you lose him completely and get nothing. And I think that the way that Ray Shero handled it, I think that he knew deep down that there was other teams that were trying to make deals with him, and this one just came out to be the best. You guys can say, well, what about the other offers on the table? They didn't disclose it, but I heard names, like I said, Bowen Byram and that. But I can't see anyone in the right mind being able to make that type of move rather than, Peter Chiarelli. Uh, the GMs know what they're doing, especially guys like you're trying to bargain with Joe Sakic. You're not going to win that type of trade. I think that they definitely New Jersey got their best possible uh, trade that they could have got. I can't see any other way around it. You guys can let me know your guys' thoughts. I personally think win-win trade. Both teams did very well on this, and I think that New Jersey it bolsters them in their chances of rebuilding. And I definitely think this pushes Arizona to be considered. I wouldn't consider them necessarily a cup contender, but I definitely see them making the second round of the playoffs. They can maybe surprise everyone. They might pull it together. They've got one of the best goalie duos in the league. Darcy Kuemper standing on his head, and Antti Ranta there to support him. That is a very awesome goaltending tandem. Like that is just phenomenal. Like I've always liked Antti Ranta. A lot of people, weren't too big on him. He played for New York, played for Chicago. The guy's always been a decent goaltender. He's always been very consistent for the most part. I think that he's always been a pretty good goaltender, and I think him as backup and Darcy Kuemper stealing the spotlight there. I definitely think this team is the real deal. I'm a Shark fan. Arizona's a Pacific Division team, and I can still tell you that they are phenomenal on the ice. And I think that this just adds another goal scorer that they need. And I think that now they do have three legitimate lines that can score goals. Like if you, I bet you Biznasty when Biznasty makes his video on Spit and Chicklets and they talk about this move, he is gonna be fired up. I think he's gonna be so stoked to see this because that is a big move for a team that hasn't been doing much in the last few years, and I think this is just going to boost their name and boost their team, and that's what my thoughts, guys. You guys can leave me what you guys think in the comments below, but just let me know what you guys think. All right, guys, have a good one.